Well, on Friday night, as many Canadians were gearing down for the weekend, we learned that Justin Trudeau, along with his Chief of Staff Katie Telford and Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc, were on their way to West Palm Beach, Florida, to have a dinner with incoming U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump was joined by many of his key allies and members of his incoming administration that have to do with energy, commerce, and national security. And now we've learned quite a lot about what was discussed at this meeting on Friday night, and from the reporting all throughout the weekend, we've now learned quite a lot about what was discussed at this meeting between the two leaders. And there are a few things that have become very clear since that meeting. The first, there is no indication that Donald Trump will drop his tariff threat on all Canadian imports, a 25% tariff threat, something that would cripple the Canadian economy. And also, we still do not have a clear definition or expectation from the incoming U.S. president as to what exactly he's looking for Canada to do. Yes, he wants us to close our border. Yes, he wants us to get a grip on the fentanyl pouring into the United States. But what exactly does that look like? Are there numbers attached to this demand? That is not clear, and it's not clearer today than it was the day Donald Trump made those threats. When Donald Trump made those threats to destroy the Canadian economy, the Canadian government came together. Canadian premiers, along with the Canadian government, immediately changed their tune on immigration. They started to sound far more Canada first. They started to sound far stronger on immigration. And that's because Donald Trump did the one thing you should never do to a Canadian, and that is compare him to a Mexican. All joking aside, we do know that this meeting was requested by Justin Trudeau the day after Donald Trump made those threats. And I think diplomacy in this situation is always good. So I do think that it was a wise decision for Justin Trudeau to meet face-to-face with the incoming U.S. president and to try to figure out what can be done to prevent these tariffs, which would completely destroy our economy. Now, before we get into the show, be sure to drop a like on this video. Help us out by subscribing to the True North YouTube channel. And the comment question for the episode is this: was Justin Trudeau right to go to Mar-A-Lago and have dinner with Donald Trump? Let me know your answer in the comments below, and let's get into it. Well, this was the scene Friday night of Justin Trudeau, along with his team, touching down in West Palm Beach, Florida, and driving towards Mar-A-Lago, the center of the political universe on Friday night. This makes Justin Trudeau the first world leader to have a face-to-face meeting with the incoming U.S. President Donald Trump since his electoral victory. And of course, this meeting on Justin Trudeau's part was an effort to try to save the Canadian economy from collapse, because that is exactly what Donald Trump's 25% tariff on all Canadian imports would do. And in a time of a diplomatic crisis like this for the Canadian people, isn't it interesting that Justin Trudeau decided to leave Chrystia Freeland and his foreign minister, Melanie Joly, behind? And that might be because Chrystia Freeland famously described Donald Trump when he was the president of the United States and when Freeland was the foreign affairs minister as a tyrant. And when it comes to Melanie Joly, well, let's just be fair and say that she's not exactly the brightest bulb in the Trudeau cabinet. She is certainly no Lester Pearson when it comes to diplomacy. Of course, this meeting was a secret meeting. The Canadian media was not made aware of this decision at all. The meeting was not on the Prime Minister's itinerary. It was, however, made at the request of Justin Trudeau on Monday. So they knew this was happening for quite a while, the Canadians did. And thanks to some background information given by a source that is close to the Prime Minister, to the Toronto Star, we know what was discussed between Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau. According to the Canadian source in the Toronto Star, the leaders discussed trade, border security, fentanyl, defense matters including NATO, Ukraine, and icebreakers, as well as China, energy issues, and pipelines such as the Keystone XL and Line 5. Next year, the G7 will be held in Alberta. That was also discussed by the two world leaders. And according to Canada's ambassador to the United States, who was also at Mar-A-Lago for the meeting but was forced to sit at an adjacent table, the ambassador tells the Associated Press that Justin Trudeau was successful at getting Donald Trump and his incoming cabinet to recognize that lumping in Canada with Mexico on the issue of immigration and fentanyl was not fair. I told you, you really shouldn't be comparing Canadians to Mexicans. That is a personal attack on us. We don't take it very kindly. And you would think that the meeting was a good one. There were pictures that were released of a smiling Donald Trump and a smiling Justin Trudeau all happily together with the incoming cabinet and Dominic LeBlanc as well. Now, personally, my favorite thing about this photo is the legendary photo bomb that was associated with this photo. You can see a young child in the background making a face in this picture with a very proud father beside his son. Top tier stuff right there. It's important never to take these things too seriously, you know. Justin Trudeau responded with his own picture. "Thanks for the dinner last night, President Trump. I look forward to the work we can do together again." What's funny is that the man sitting beside Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump right there, Mike Waltz, is Donald Trump's pick to be the incoming national security advisor. And it wasn't long ago, in fact, it was back in May, that Mike Waltz said Pierre Poilievre was going to be the guy to send Trudeau packing in 2025, finally, and start digging Canada out of the progressive mess it's in. His trolling of Trudeau's nonsense, worth a watch. Funny how things change, huh? It seemed to be a cordial meeting, and I have to say that I think the idea of the meeting was right. It was important to have this dialogue. Canada and the United States are very close partners, very close trading partners, and I think dialogue is good. But what can Justin Trudeau even do in this instance? He wasn't really going to walk out of that meeting with a commitment from Donald Trump to drop the tariffs. That surely was never the plan. Also, Donald Trump is not stupid. He can see the political situation in our country, and so can his team. They know that Justin Trudeau is on his way out, that a new prime minister and a new Canadian government will be at the negotiating table in 2026 for the USMCA renegotiation. Surely Donald Trump also knows that for the past 2 years, Justin Trudeau has been attacking the political opposition in Canada, which will surely defeat him resoundingly, as MAGA Republicans, using Donald Trump's political brand as an attack against conservatives in Canada.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Justin Trudeau is on the back foot here for a number of reasons. He has been disastrous on the border, on immigration. He has opened this country up to millions of people. We have drugs pouring into the United States and drugs pouring into Canada from the United States. The border and immigration has never been taken seriously by Justin Trudeau. And furthermore, the Canadian economy has been brutal compared to the US economy. Canadians are getting poorer. Our GDP per capita has broken off with the United States. Canadians are far poorer than their American counterparts. In fact, the average Alabaman, the average person who lives in Alabama is richer than the average Canadian. Disgraceful, really. Not that we have anything against Alabamans, but come on now. Our economy is poor. We are in a state of weakness right now. The Canadian Prime Minister only has one option, and that is to go to Mar-A-Lago and beg for some leniency here from the US President. And also remind him, never compare us to Mexicans. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for us today on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Harrison Faulkner, and this is Ratio.